Dave here, how are you? I'm going to give you a quick run through on how to adjust the outfeed table for this planer thickness. So it's a combination machine. It's the same design as many others around, and I think they all get adjusted in a similar way. First thing you need to do is to remove this guard. First thing you need to do, unplug the power. Very important. All right, so I'm going to use an Allen key to remove this. 1, 2. There we go. And I'm going to also remove the guard at the back, the fence. There's these two guys at the back. Remove all of them. Lift this up, and then you can turn this. This is all best done prior to assembling the machine. Gotcha. Don't lose the washer. Take the fence off. That's pretty easy. Alright, now I have the machine that I can put the straight edge on. Next thing I'm going to do is lower the in-feed table right out of the way. So, release it and drop it down. Now I can concentrate on the outfeed table itself. The idea is to get it set up like mine, so that as it turns, it just grabs the straight edge ever so slightly. It must just touch it. If you go below it, you're going to have all sorts of dramas. I've also got it exactly the same at the back. So rotate that ever so slowly. Watch your fingers. There you go. See, it's just moving it by about 1/4 of an inch. I don't know if you can see that or not. Anyway, it is. That's how it's got to be. What we do then is release, to get it like mine, release these two blocks at the front, raise the table up until the safety post engages. Now you'll notice there's 2 bolts at the front here, and there are 3 bolts at the back here. These 2 bolts are the actual adjusting heights that push against there and there. The same kind of things on the in-feed as well, but we're working on the outfeed table at the moment. So what we need to do, if you need to adjust the table up or down, this is basically the midpoint of that outfeed table. So by adjusting the outside one, we're going to be pivoting. It's not just going to be straight up like that, because it's not supported at this point, it's supported here. So remember, it's doing this thing. This one is going to be doing the same kind of thing, but it lets us get it flat and end up being coplanar at the end. But what we're doing at the moment is we'll put a spanner on here and a spanner on the lock nut. With the spanner on the top, you release the lock nut. Don't let this turn at all. Hold on to that, release the lock nut, and then if you want to lower the back of the outfeed table, and that will slightly lift it at this end, you turn this clockwise. Now only turn it maybe 1/8 of a turn to get a feeling for it. If you want to lower the whole thing down parallel to what it is at the moment, you will turn this maybe 1/8 of a turn and then lock the nut, and then do exactly the same to this one. Release the lock nut, turn it 1/8 of a turn clockwise, and then lock the lock nut again. That will have dropped it like that, not twisting it. This is all working on the front. When it's closed, I'll show you again. So that will raise or lower this section here in relation to the cutter head. To raise or lower in relation to the cutter head at the back, turn this back up again, we undo these bolts by maybe 1 turn. Beside each one of those bolts is a grub screw that's got designed for an Allen key to go into it. Now the grub screws actually do the lifting or the lowering. These are only the lock bolts, okay? So to raise the whole thing parallel, I would undo those, one turn, just enough to let it move, and then turn each one of these grub screws clockwise 1/8 of a turn. And then I would tighten all those bolts back up again. And that will have lifted the whole thing. And so if you are concerned about throwing the machine out of being coplanar, well, this is the way to do it. You make sure that you do all three in one go, and at the front both two, I should say, both of them at the same time. Close the machine up, and one of the very important things to do is to lock the machine down again. If you don't do that, the machine might, the outfeed table might be sitting up ever so slightly, and that's going to stuff you up. Once you've got it to that position, and you're happy that the table, the outfeed table, is in line with the top of the cutter as it comes past like that. Mine's in very good nick, and mine basically came like this. It took me about 20 minutes to tune it. Then you can bring your straight edge over to here, and you can release the knob on this end, raise the table up ever so slowly, and have a look as it comes into contact. There, that's perfect. Now mine is dead flat right the way through, and then I'll bring it over to this side and I'll check it, and that's spot on as well. So before you start adjusting the infeed, make sure the outfeed is perfect to the cutter head. Then you can raise the infeed table up, and if it needs some adjustment, you do it in the same method as I showed you at that end. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and good luck with it. This is a great machine. There you go.